Hey guys, Justin here with Argonaut Wine and Liquor for another Whiskey Wednesday. Recently, we've had a lot of people asking me specifically, what's the difference between bourbon and whiskey? It's a kind of a confusing thing for people that don't nerd out about it like some of us do. Whiskey is kind of an all-encompassing term for grain distilled spirits that are aged in barrels. So obviously we know about Scotch. Scotch is a big player in the whiskey world. It is a whiskey. There are so many different nuances between the types of whiskeys that come out of Scotland, single malts being the most predominantly known. There's Islay Scotches from like Lagavulin and Highland Scotches like Balvenie and some fun Campbelltowns like Springbank. We have Irish whiskeys that play by their own rules. We have French whiskeys, English whiskeys, Japanese whiskeys. But we're going to kind of talk about bourbon a little bit more because how does it differ from the other whiskeys? In general, barley is the big player in international whiskeys, but for American whiskey, especially bourbon, corn is the big player, which gives bourbon a little more sweetness. There's a little more sugariness, vanillas, those types of flavors. For some palates, might be a little too much sweetness. Americans, we love sweet stuff. We like big, bold flavor. What makes bourbon different is that it has to be made in America. It's predominantly made from corn. The mash bill has to be at least 51% corn. Typically, rye and barley are the secondary grains. It has to be aged in new oak barrels. For bourbon, new oak barrels are also a requirement. Typically, it's an American oak, but it could be any oak barrel. It can't be distilled more than 160 proof. It can't be barreled at more than 125 proof, and can't be bottled at less than 80 proof. And then another big factor in American whiskey, to be called a bourbon, it cannot have additives in it. So we can't put flavoring in it. You might see certain brands that say it's a bourbon flavored with vanilla or these other things. But those are basically just liqueurs they're whiskey based. But it is the American spirit. In 1967, the government decided that was going to be the American spirit. So it was designated that. There were other countries that were making similar whiskeys, but they could no longer call it bourbon. I have a great whiskey here. It's our Barrel Select Elijah Craig 94, the 9-year. Delicious, sweet, big, bold flavor. That's what we Americans love. And there are other American whiskeys that are very similar to the rules that bourbon has. We have ryes, which basically switch rye for the predominant grain, 51%. We've got wheat whiskeys. We've got American single malts, Tennessee whiskeys, which are basically just bourbon with the Lincoln process where they're filtering it before they barrel it. And then we have everybody's favorite flavored whiskeys that are just like sugar bombs. Not necessarily whiskeys, but we like to call it whiskey anyway. But I hope that clears things up a little bit more. Bourbon is a whiskey. All of these are whiskeys. They just have their own little nuances that make them fun flavors. So come in sometime and we'll talk about the different flavor profiles that you're looking for. And we'll have fun with some whiskey.